Oh, yeah. Got it. Yeah. Hey, Bill. Oh, hey, Bill.
Hey, you. So, Anna, I want to start with something. Can I read something?
Yep.
Okay. I was doing my consults this morning. People call me. I set up these consults and I do them. I don't know if you noticed, but my Instagram, I've been changing it a bit. I'm putting little inspirational spots somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds almost daily now. You'll see me, I'm still walking back to my house from the consult. So I have a bunch of consults in the morning and some at midday and then some in the afternoon. But I love talking to people and coaching them on the phone. And when I hear something that it comes to my mind, then I talk about it in the little 30 seconds spill. So you could go, hey, you want me to play another one of those?
Yeah.
Let's see if Scott's doing his job. See if he put another one up here.
Okay.
All right, let's see. I think I played one yesterday, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, wait. I think I fucked up, Anna. Let me try.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
I got my morning consults with my walk. I just spoke to a guy who, when he started NSNG, he weighed 400 pounds. His triglycerides were off the charts. Did we do this one yesterday? No, we didn't. Right?
Hmm.
Way over 300. And doctor told him if he kept up, he would have to chop a limb off. And since he started NSNG, his A1Cs are coming down. His triglycerides have normalized. He no longer uses a CPAP machine. That's great. But then he said to me, how long do I have to stay on this crazy diet? And I started laughing. And he said, well, what's so funny? I said, hang on, you mean the diet that's getting you healthy? That's the crazy diet? Stay motivated, folks. So, yeah, those are the type of things I'm doing.
I love it.
Just a little quick motivation. So if you guys go join my Instagram, you'll see those. I talked about this one a bit, and it's going to be coming up. I don't know when these come out. We're doing a lot of podcasts ahead of time because both Anna and I will be traveling. But I was talking to a guy this morning, and he was saying to me, how much exercise? And I said, bare minimum, an hour a day. And, you know, I like when people do aerobics. If you could do some weights on top of that, because sarcopenia, he's 50 years old, said sarcopenia is already upon you. You don't want it to get any worse, and on and on and on, right? And he was like, all right, yeah, I guess, but that's a lot, right? It's a lot of work, and I don't really have time. Time's an issue.
Right.
I always wonder about this time thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my childhood was full of 3 television stations, NBC, CBS, and ABC. And you can only watch television on the big 3. And every advertisement was about saving time in the 70s. Hey, you can get a microwave. It cooks food in less time.
Right.
Ladies, you don't have to make a TV. You don't have to make a dinner. You can make a TV dinner.
Right.
There was like a tin foil with little sectioned off things, and there was a little food in each. There was a meat, a protein.
I feel like people know what a TV dinner is, right? Frozen food, frozen dinner.
Frozen dinner. And by the way,
the Salisbury steak, the mashed potatoes and gravy, the little apple chutney, and some sort of green, like peas, usually.
I remember one time we begged Marie because we saw him and say, please get the Swanson, because she was like, she brought some.
Swanson was the best one.
She says, if you tell your grandmother or your great grandmother, I will disown you. You will be kicked out of my house. But she brought it home so we can try it. And so I think I had like one when I was a kid. Maybe she brought it home a second time. But the whole idea was you stick it in the oven for 20 minutes. It gets bubbly and hot. You just rip the tinfoil off. You eat. And then there's no cleanup because you just throw the dish away. It's a tinfoil dish. You throw it away, right? Everything was saving time. Microwaves. People stopped hanging clothes on clotheslines. Everyone had a dryer and a washer in the house and the whole thing. We've been saving time since the beginning of time. Yet when I talk to people, they explain to me how they have exactly 0 time. And by the way, the TV dinners went from being 20 minutes in the oven to being like 6 minutes in the microwave at some point, right? And everything is instant. Hey, just take this stuff and just pour water on it. And you reconstitute it and you have soup. Right? Can of soup. Everything is just saving time. Yet no one has it. Seems to be fleeting. So whenever I talk to these people, I'll say, well, tell me about that time element. Let's talk about that. Well, you know, I'm a working mother, or, you know, guy, I'm a working guy, you know, the whole thing. I work. Okay. And then, you know, we have the kids and softball and baseball and hockey and, you know, field hockey.
It's real. I lived it. You know, it's a lot.
Lacrosse, you name it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say to them, how many hours of television do you watch a day? Well, you know, my wife and I, the kids, we'll get 2 or 3, you know, a couple of shows in every night. All right. So that's time. I get it. You want it to be family time. Of course, you just spent a lot of family time with those kids at the lacrosse game. But okay, family time. I get it. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. This is America. Do what you want.
America.
Then I'll say to them, hey, you play any of those games on the internet, like on your phone, the little games you play? What are they called? Halo?
Yeah, they're all called Halo.
Yeah.
The Halo games.
Yeah. That's what they're called, right, Anna? Because I look at Serena, she plays games with numbers and words with friends.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
The Wordle.
And Wordle.
Well, those games you should play while you're doing your cardio.
So I'm sitting there, and when I get annoyed at Serena, it's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm relaxing. It's like, you don't sound relaxed from you yelling at me while you're playing your game, but okay.
Well, it's not relaxing when someone interrupts you gaming.
Okay. I'm relaxing. It's like, I thought the run you took this morning was relaxing, or the fact that you did yoga, or the fact that you came in the gym and you stretched or whatever, right? Wasn't that relaxing? Okay. People have time on their hands. They're doing other things with it, and they're not willing to give up those things to do better in the health field. I'm just stating a fact. And, you know, when you look around, everyone, you know, when they do get into health and fitness, they say, oh, I did a 5K. I did a 10K. I did a half marathon. And now I'm into ultra marathons, right? You have that group.
Right.
And then those people are looking for the lightest shoes they can find. It's like the lightest clothes I can find. This clothes will whisk sweat away so I can be lighter.
Right.
They're looking to be the lightest thing in the world. And I always tell people this, is that, what do you think the Romans did?
They just ran.
What do you think?
They put they slapped those old leather sandals on and ran.
Talk, Anna.
The Romans, they rubbed olive oil all over their glistening bodies.
That's exactly what they did. Okay.
Probably an early version of Villa Capelli.
When Rome was conquering the world,
they didn't put the gel between their legs for thigh chafing. They put olive oil there.
Yeah, of course. That's what they had.
Natch.
Or as George C. Scott would say, we're going to take the blood of the Hun and we're going to grease the tracks of our. I can't go back and find that part, right? That was earlier in the speech.
Just side note, audience, I heard that entire speech before we started so he could find the right place to start.
Yeah.
And I thought we had already started the show.
Yeah.
And then when he said, okay, now we're going to start, I was like, wait, what? I have to listen to it again.
Okay. So, Anna, I started thinking about the Romans. I always tell people the Romans moved armies on foot,
right,
30, 35 miles a day. That's documented in history, right? That's made up.
How they fed them, how they moved that, like it's defies all logistics.
Right. But, you know, they did the whole thing. You know, they had the porta potties and I don't know. They had chuck wagons and everything. I followed along. They had to feed these men and they had to do this stuff.
Right.
But they would move on foot up to 30 miles a day, every day.
Every day.
Every day. So I wanted to find out just how true that whole thing was, right? So I went and I looked this up and I found this. Okay, a single soldier in the modern U.S. Army is required to complete a loaded march carrying weight of up to 70 pounds, 12 miles in less than 3 hours to attain expert infantryman badge. All right, so that's pretty heavy. You got a 70-pound pack.
Yeah.
You got to move at, I did some quick math here. You got to move at about 4 miles an hour. That's a slow jog or a very fast walk, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
But you have to do that in under 3 hours with 70 pounds in your back. All right.
Okay.
And then the French Foreign Legion, they require the march of 75 miles in 3 days in full combat gear, carrying rifle and 70 pounds of gear. And they had to get that done in 3 days. Okay, let's go to the Romans.
So what did the Romans do?
A full pace march of the Roman legionaries, the legionnaires, in basic training were required to march in daylight hours, okay, 22 miles, carrying more than 70 pounds.
Wow.
They were known to, the Legion could march 20 to 30 miles per day if needed.
Wow.
Documented Roman soldiers never stopped training during their 25-year service. They never stopped training.
They are the Jerry Rice of Mediterranean soldiers.
Pretty much.
Because wasn't Jerry Rice the dude who like did crazy workouts on the off season, and that's why he was so good?
A lot of them too. Walter Payton was the same way.
Yeah.
Just crazy workouts. Walter Payton died young of some kind of liver disorder, but I mean, the guy was built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
This stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. We all want to think, oh, these guys, they take steroids. I'm pretty sure Jerry Rice and Walter Payton never saw a steroid. These guys saw nothing but hard work, right? It's easy to do if you're into it. It's impossible to consider if you're a couch potato.
Right.
Right. Like, as I say to people all the time, it's one of my sayings, exercise is like wiping your ass and brushing your teeth, right? Those are just habits. We would never consider not doing those. It's never a consideration for a guy like me who's been exercising my whole life not to exercise and find myself like on road trips when I'm forced to drive all day. I carry my jump ropes, right? Yeah. I bring running shoes with me, and I may not even run, but you know what? I'll throw those shoes on and go for a long walk. If I'm in a hotel, all hotels have treadmills now. I will be on that thing. If I'm leaving at 7 a.m, I'll be on that thing at 5 a.m, right? Get an hour in, get some movement in me. I stop, I famously talk about this on the podcast all the time. When I stop at a rest stop to take a leak, I don't pull right in front. I don't want to make a big show out of it, but they usually have a lot of, sidewalk and concrete from end to end.
Yep.
Especially I find if there's some 18-wheelers there, you could kind of hide amongst the 18-wheelers. Mm-hmm. And I could just get on my jump rope for 5-10 minutes, right? You get back in a car, you feel brand new.
Absolutely.
And, exercise, our bodies were never meant to be sedentary. I'm sorry. So when I get on these consults and people go, oh, Vin, come on, 7 days a week. I used to do an aerobic class back in the day, 3 times a week. Not enough. That was a good start. That was a good thought. Whereas your body you relax the rest of the week. Your body, you sleep every night, your body regenerates, you go again tomorrow. It's either use it or lose it. That's just the cold hard facts of this. And if you think I'm making this up, I read a book years ago. God, let me think of the name of it. It was called, it was written by a paleoanthropologist. And basically, he set out to, I can't think of the name of the book. I think it's
not Sapiens, is it?
No, it's in my book club. But look up books written by paleoanthropologists, Anna. You'll see the name of it. This guy set out to prove that modern man was the best man in the history of man, of Homo sapiens. And John
Durant.
What's the name of the book?
The Paleo Manifesto.
No.
I don't know. There's a million of these books.
There's a human something. I'll figure it out for next.
I'll go to your site and see.
Yeah, see if you can find it there. But the bottom line is, very interesting book. This guy set out to prove that modern man, us, was the best version of man. And when he figured it out, he looked back through history and realized we're the biggest pussies to ever walk the earth. It's so weak that the fact that we're getting disease now and everything else has to do with what we've done with modernization, eating the foods we're eating, and the fact that we don't have to, swing from trees or anything else to find food, right? And we don't have to persistent hunt, and we don't have to survive just by outrunning another animal. And they looked around, and what they figured out was back in I wish I could remember which period, if it was the Neanderthal period or probably Neanderthal. They found tracks of the Neanderthal woman, and they were able to show that, that woman was probably 5'4" or 5'5", very squatty, and was able to outrun the fastest human being that we have on record today, which is Usain Bolt. Right? It's just amazing what these people were able to do.
It's not the paleocardiologist, is it?
No.
That's the only one.
I don't know if paleo was in the title.
Okay. I don't know if it's in your book club, but I'm not seeing anything.
Folks, when I figure this out, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
I have the book here somewhere. I just have to go flip through my books and figure it out.
You have so many good books in your book club.
Yeah. It's all books.
If you know that feeling when you get through, you feel like you got through all your Kindle or everything annoys you on your Kindle, you need to go to VinnieTortorich.com and click through his little Amazon banner. It takes you right to where you tap on the book club. There's like 1 million good books in here you can read. I guarantee you guys haven't read all these. They're so good. I love the David Goggins book.
Yeah, I liked it too. And talking about guys that have gotten a lot of people motivated,
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me about David Goggins, and they'll say, hey, you believe all those stories are exactly true? He was running on a broken leg. And I said, yeah, I think he took a little artistic license here and there, but I love the fact that he's telling people, get off your ass and get moving, because this younger generation needs to hear this. Bottom line, this is not, oh, maybe if we get to it, oh, maybe this will happen. No, these people need to get to it. And that's just the end all and be all. So, call it what you will. I like David Goggins, and I like what he stands for.
Yeah.
And
I like him.
He's a go-getter. And
I feel like if it inspires other people to get off their butts and do it. And I want to say something here too because people say the same things to me, like, oh, I don't have time to make a whole dinner. And literally all I've been focusing on all of my lives for the past year have been how to get dinner on the table in 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Using whole food ingredients. And
what
so
does that mean? Let me ask you, do you know what they mean when they say that? I don't have time to make a whole dinner.
Listen, I understand, because it does take some foresight. It's not like you're going to get dinner on the table. That doesn't include shopping at the store. So you do have to kind of think about what you want to make, or if you have to thaw something, remembering to take it out of the freezer in the morning or whatever. It does take some foresight, but it's like one of those things. Time and money are resources that you allocate. And I understand that not everybody has a ton of time and not everybody has a ton of money. Oh, somebody's delivering me British bacon. Yes, please.
You see, this just...
Ew. How is it, by the way? Okay. There we go.
Look at that.
We bought the wrong kind of bacon by accident, but I think it's going to be the right kind of bacon. You know what I'm saying?
I think the bacon in front of you is better than the bacon in front of me, which is none.
Right. Exactly. So there are resources that you allocate. And I keep reminding people that sometimes you don't think you can do it because you're bound by your own belief system. Right. So you think like, I couldn't possibly add another thing. I feel so overwhelmed. And I understand that. And that's a very normal feeling to feel. So you just have to ease up a little bit and find time here and there. Like you said, okay, maybe you jump rope at the thing, or maybe you just do some squats around the car while you're waiting for your kid to do their lacrosse thing instead of just sitting there and chatting with the other parents. I don't know. Or you go for a walk around the field and you cheer your kid on. You know what I'm saying? Like you look for little places to do things like that. You just
gave me another idea.
Great.
I'm going to take a couple of my kettlebells with me, and I can do kettlebells. That's
a great idea, because you're going to be gone for a while.
And by the way, you know this guy, Dan Lynch? He's been on my show. He's Cotty Cod's best friend from childhood.
Okay. Oh my God, good.
Hang on. I did mention Cotty Cod, right? Cotty Cod and Dan Lynch grew up together. Dan is that guy that does all the rowing. I had him on the Friday show. He's a rower. He's been on the show a couple of times. He holds this crazy record where he's rowed at least on a Concept 2. He had the longest record, and I don't know how many days it was. It was like 500 or 600 days straight of rowing at least 2,000 meters, which takes 10 minutes. Now, most days he rows much, he'll row, an hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever Dan rows, right? But the record was he had to row at least 2,000 meters, for this erroneous record, right? And no one cares about the record except him and a couple of other guys.
Right.
When he went through chemo, he actually brought his rowing machine into his hospital room, and he was hooked to stuff and sat on that machine for 10 minutes to get the rowing in.
Right.
Okay. That's a bit nutty. But as you know, the rowing machine is pretty big. It breaks down one little clip. You clip it and it breaks into two. And it fits in. Dan does not have, like, I have a fancy 4Runner, right? I could fit 2 rowing machines in the back of my car. Dan has like a regular sedan of some sort. And he can fit the rowing machine in his regular sedan in the back seat. It breaks down to that small. And I've seen pictures of Dan rowing, like in the front of a shopping center. He'll just break it out, set it up.
That's awesome.
It's a little douchey.
But can I say something though?
Yeah, go on.
Even the image of somebody going through chemo, and I'm not saying that everybody's experience is the same. It's not. Everybody has a different journey when they go through something like that. But even the image that we have in our heads, the preconceived notion that you're sickly, that you can't do that you won't be able to move, you won't be able to eat right, you won't be, you know what I mean? Like that it's going to be the chemo, with that phrase that the cure is worse than the illness, like all these phrases that we have that make it seem like we couldn't possibly do something like that. And here's this guy doing it. And so I just want to find places every day. And this is how I like to live my life. I want to find places every day where I can like rip open some preconceived notion that doesn't serve me. So just look for those things. And then all of a sudden you'll find it opening up, because the problem is that especially with cooking dinner, when you are taking the kids to the thing and you haven't given it any thought and you feel overwhelmed, the problem is going to be, you're going to call the takeout or the Seamless or the Grubhub or whatever. And because you can't specialize those things when you do your orders, you're just going to get the burger with the fries. And then you know what happens? You eat the fries. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, despite our best intentions, sometimes and when we're tired and overwhelmed is when often we're weakest, Who are you calling?
Don't worry about it. Keep talking. Hold
on. Megan's calling me. Are you calling Megan?
No. I'm not.
She doesn't know I'm podcasting with you. Let me tell her.
Let's see.
So anyway, so just think about things that you could be like, okay, what can I throw together with, I defrosted the steaks or I defrosted the chicken and I have these vegetables that are currently about to go bad. I give you hundreds and hundreds of ideas in my cookbooks, but like how can you do that and throw together a dinner? You'd be surprised if you take 15 to 20 minutes and just do it, you can do it. And you can go back and watch a year's worth of Instagram lives where I'm showing you guys fast things that you can finish in a half an hour. So, but again, the I don't have time thing, you got to loosen that up. I also feel like the I don't have time to exercise. Wasn't that the excuse we used in the 90s and we got over it? So anybody who's still like, we know. Who are you talking to?
I'm still trying to find someone. Yeah, just keep going.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna make a phone call, I'm just gonna eat bacon on the air. We're just
no. One of us has to talk, Anna. Yeah.
You guys, we're going to KetoCon. Vinnie and I are going to be there on this Friday, July 8th. Vinnie and I are going to be there, and Vinnie's giving a talk Friday morning. I'm doing a cooking demo Friday afternoon, and Vinnie's doing his Q&A, Ask Me Anything at 3:30 on Friday. So all day long, you get a double dose of Vinnie and Anna. We're going to have a really good time. Carbs play. Please don't forget to bring your costumes. We will be giving prizes. And
I'm a little concerned because you know me, when I do those things, I'll leave it all on the table, the talk and the whole thing.
Yeah. And
then I'm doing the second talk. And then I got to get in the car and drive like 10 hours.
Yeah, you do.
I'm worried that I'm leaving it. I hope I'm not screwing myself over.
What do you mean?
Like, driving too hard after leaving it all on the table that day, because I got to start driving. I got to start.
You have to go right afterwards.
Yeah. I have to be in Lone Pine on Sunday.
Well, you know what? Let's make Lauren your heavy. And he's going to get you out of there.
Yeah. I'm going
to get out of there.
I have to go because,
you need a handler.
People start telling me, hey, one more. Hey, can you, one more, can we get a selfie and one more? And I gotta get better.
But here's the thing. We're going to be there from the time your talk starts to the time that you have to leave.
Yeah.
So there is some in between time that folks can come and chat and take a picture and things like that.
Absolutely.
And can I ask you guys who are coming, if you feel at all like you're getting sick, don't come.
Yeah.
Or don't come up close.
I'm gonna be on the road for 3 weeks driving. Don't get me sick, please.
But that's like actually a for real request. Like I know we used to be like, oh, I'm catching a cold, I'll go on with my regular. Now we can't do that anymore. Yeah. Like for us to be able to go do these things, we have to make sure everybody there is also feeling well. And if I'm not feeling well, I won't do it too. But or I'll mask up and won't touch anybody. But I'm so excited that we're gonna be at KetoCon. Get your weekend pass. Use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get $50 off your pass. And we're really looking forward to seeing you guys there. And hopefully everybody within driving distance is going to come.
Yeah.
Right?
I've talked to a lot of people who said they were going to be there.
Okay, good.
Ross Taylor told me the other day. He's
good.
Yeah, so
and Kara too.
I'm not sure if Kara's going to be there or not.
Kara. And also too, when you guys come up, make sure you tell me your name, because sometimes y'all look different than your thing. And then I feel bad that I don't recognize you right away. So say, hey, it's so-and-so. And then I'll be like, then I'll know who you are. Vinny won't, because he doesn't know anybody's name.
Even if I met you last week, I can't even remember my fake
I know. I'm better with the names than Vinny is.
And now I pay her. And sometimes when I'm talking to her, you
call her Lois.
I'll call her Lola or Lois or something. What's her
Well, you call me Serena, Gina, Lois, Nancy. So
and of course
we're not expecting Serena better at this point.
They all three of you guys
it gets worse.
Person's name. Yeah. Because the only
okay, you don't have to defend it. We understand.
The only two people I'm friends with that I actually text with back and forth is you, Gina, and Serena.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I have to look at the name that I'm talking to make sure that I'm saying the right thing to that person. I don't really have any other friends than that, except for Dolak and Joey, I guess.
Poor Vinny.
He and no friends.
I didn't cook this bacon in. Oh, by the way, did you find the person you were looking for?
No, neither. I called.
Were you looking for Coddy?
I was looking for Coddy Cod. Can you text him and ask him? Say, look, Vinny's trying to get you on the show. Pick up the friggin' phone. Jesus Christ. These guys, right? I got a stinger all ready to go here and everything.
Vinny's trying to get you on the show, period. Pick up the phone. My text-to-speech misspelled your name, VINNYS. That's rude.
Why would it go the other way for me? It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. All right, Anna,
yes.
I've gotten a lot of questions about.
He wrote "can't" in meeting.
Oh,
I'm going to say walk out of your meeting.
No, he can't because he's at his house in a Zoom meeting. So
I'm joking.
Don't joke with him. You don't know how to joke.
I'm going to say quit your job.
No more Lizzo for you if he quits. How are you going to listen to Bieber if he quits?
I don't even know what music is until Coddy Cod tells me what it is.
I know.
I've literally become you. I don't know what any of the music is.
Yeah, he knows all the hot stuff because he's at Interscope. Okay. Everyone's been asking me, Anna, and by the way, I thought everyone knew about this. When I did that little video where I took the meat off the grill and I poured a little butter on it, and then I put it under the tent.
Yeah.
They were like, what's the tent? What are you doing there? Resting your
meat? You got to rest your meat.
Can you explain what happened? Because I always tell people when you rest the meat, the fibers relax and they open up, and the meat, the reason you don't have to cook it until it's, a piece of charcoal.
It continues cooking.
It continues cooking for the next 10 or 15 minutes. And having that little dome on it helps keep the heat on the meat.
Right.
You don't put it on there tight. You leave some air, and that air continues to help the meat cook itself.
It's basically a science experiment. So think of it this way. If you have a frozen steak, all the liquid that's in that steak has become frozen, right? So then you thaw a steak. This is why ideally you want your meat to never be frozen, but that's okay. Sometimes it's frozen. You have to freeze it. You have to deep freeze it and keep it. This is why you would never, we know consciously that we would never throw a steak on the grill that's straight from frozen onto the grill, because the time that it would take for it to thaw and cook would screw up the chemistry, the balance of the meat fibers, the fat, the water content in there. Right.
Right.
So that's why we let it come to room or we let it thaw. Ideally, you want to take your steak out of the fridge first for about 15 minutes before you even start cooking it, because you heat that pan up so hot, and then ice cold 55-degree steak hits the pan, it's not going to cook as well as a more room temperature steak that will take the sear, or a pan or a grill. I'm using those interchangeably.
Right.
So if you have a room temperature, what's your room temperature? Somewhere between 65 and 75?
Around here, 75, 78.
So if it's up, if your steak has warmed up a little bit, it's going to take that sear better. And that's just chemistry, temperature to temperature, right?
Right.
And also too, there's the whole struggle of, you don't want the heat so hot that you burn the outside of the steak. You want to sear it, turn it down, or cook the steak at a lower heat, then turn it up for what's called a reverse sear. And then when you remove the steak, like you did, you can pour the butter on it. That's an old bistro trick, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You pour the butter on it, let it rest. If you ever have the chance to go to a steakhouse and actually sit back near the kitchen, if they have an open kitchen, and watch how the chefs do it.
Morton's has that sort of.
Morton's does it. I know Gwen in LA has a chef's table you can sit at, and it's fascinating because you learn so much just watching their technique. You're like, oh, I've never seen that before. I should try that at home. So if it's, that's when the one time it's worth the price of going to a steakhouse for your steak, because once you learn their tricks, you can do it at home. Not to take the money out of the chefs.
Serena has a book called, I think it's called Meat. Simply called Meat. I think that's the title of it. And you can learn so much from that book.
Oh, did you freeze?
No.
Okay. Meat. Okay. Yeah.
Meat.
Listen, get books. This is why I try to give technique in all of my recipes and a little bit of explanation, but also visual cues. So with steaks, the problem with steaks is that we have this beautiful outside of the steak, but we're not sure how well it is done. With a really thick steak, like you showed that porterhouse. Now you know how to make a porterhouse, so this is not for you. But if somebody gets, I want to make that porterhouse, but I don't want to overdo it and I don't want to underdo it, because the worst thing is when you cut it open and releases all the juices to check it. You can do that with chicken. You cannot do that with steak. So, I mean, you can do it, but it will release the juices that you don't want released. So what you can do with a really thick steak like that is get a digital meat thermometer, or even and so look for it, and you can Google the amounts, but it's like 140 is like medium, 160 is medium. Well, I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head, but what you want to do. And I also like the digital thermometer of Meter. That's a good brand, but there's a ton of brands that sync up to your phone. And I do those with roasts that I'm grilling, like when I do a tri-tip, when I do a brisket, because the internal temperature is important to track, because if you just go on visual cues, it could be stalling out and sweating. So yes. So long story short, you can use a meat thermometer until you kind of get the idea, but generally it's 3 to 5 minutes per side for medium rare. And the first side that you do will be longer than when you flip it.
And by the way, it's like okay. You have to keep
flipping it. That's fine too.
I tell people, they go, how long do you leave it? And it's like, well, it's okay to peek. You can peek at it. You know what I mean?
You can peek. And by the way, if you have a big ribeye, bone-in ribeye, that's going to take longer, because anything that has a bone on it will take longer to cook, because next to the bone, the heat can't get in there. So it's going to take a little bit longer to cook than a boneless thing. Now, all these are common sense that you get used to after doing it a few times, but also the best way, it's almost like the idea of the burned pancake. You know, you always burn the first pancake. I know we're not eating pancakes anymore, but everybody understands that analogy.
Right.
It might take 1 or 2 times of cooking the steak to get it to where you're like, oh, I'm starting to get this now, how to use my grill. But don't be intimidated. Just start cooking, get in there. And, if Vinny's doing it, y'all can do it. Come on.
Yeah, look, I've had to cook for myself.
Steak summer.
I've been trying to find this paleoanthropology book. I've been cooking for myself because Serena is gone for almost a month. And I got to tell you, I was like, wow, this is just going to be restaurants every night. But then I started thinking to myself, wait, before Serena came around 15 years ago, of course, I was always on the road with clients and I had to eat a lot of meals in restaurants. But I would cook for myself. And so I've been cooking for myself, a lot of steak. There hasn't been a lot of veggies. I'll admit, Serena's the one that makes the veggie thing happen around here. Tallulah had a little dinner party here last night. She goes, oh, by the way, I left some veggies in the fridge you can have. It's like they're always trying to push more veggies on me. That's fine. If it's broccoli, I'll eat it. If it's cauliflower, if it's one of those, I'll have it. Right? A cruciferous, I'll have. Asparagus, I'll have. I just don't go any deeper than that. Right? So I've been getting by, no problem. Of course, it's getting a bit boring. It's either fish or steak or hamburger and then steak and then fish again.
Oops, I was muted.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I am with the whole thing, right? It's I'm getting by. I'm making.
That's why you should watch my Instagram live on Tuesday every day at 5:30. Every Tuesday.
Well, you see, Anna, I'm not going to go any deep. As you noticed,
I understand.
I cook with one pan and I cook with one utensil. I have a metal spatula and I have a pan that won't scratch.
Right.
Yeah, I have the Lodge. What do we call it?
Lodge cast iron.
Cast iron.
Yep.
So, and it's easy to clean up, and it's been well seasoned for 1,000 years. Right. And I have a little this metal thing you just kind of rub along the bottom, and it gets all the gubbins up, and you just wipe it down. It's ready for the next day. Boom. I've been using the same pan when I go camping. Coddington even asked me, he goes, wait, do you use the same pan that you bring when we go? Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
That's awesome.
It just comes everywhere. Whenever I'm on the road and I'm bringing my Coleman stove, that's the one I bring that. And I bring the little on stove percolator to make my coffee. Right. I don't do all the electric stuff from the car. I still, as they say, I like cooking with gas. And so I have my propane stove and that's what I do. And I get by, no problem whatsoever. And the cleanup on that is easy. People ask me, what's it like cooking with those? It takes a little practice. Steak is simple. I simply put butter in the pan. I salt the steak on both sides. I just sprinkle it on, pat it in. Since Anna sent me that dust, I've been putting the dust on it.
The barbecue
dust now. I need to buy some more. So, I put and when I put it in that pan and scorch it, it seals it off, and it gives it this nice kind of caramel look and taste. The taste, here's the problem. When I go back to a regular steakhouse, or when Serena comes back, I'm just going to say, Serena, just put this on mine. I don't care if you want it or not. I want this on mine every time. The problem is when I go to a regular steakhouse, it's going to taste like a regular steak. Right. And I've gotten used to this thing almost tasting like candy to me. It's so good. It's got such a mellow thing.
Honestly, they do put different spice mixes. Yeah.
I know they do, but I wouldn't even call what you have barbecue sauce. It should, barbecue dust. It should have been called meat dust.
Meat dust.
Meat dust.
We're change it to that. Meat happy.
Yeah, meat happy. Because it's not saying it's barbecue dust is somewhat of a miss. Ooh, I just thought of something. Oh, I'm going to make these today. Anna, hear me out. I'm going to get my cast iron pan out. I'm going to crumble up some cheese. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to make a cheese crisp. I'm going to make some with the barbecue dust. I'm going to make some with the taco dust. Yep. And I'm going to make some with the dill.
By the way, I've been doing this, and now I'm looking for a manufacturer who can do it. And this is going to be my next product.
Oh my God.
The problem is that so far nobody can do it. So I might have to just rent a commercial kitchen and do it myself.
Anna, we have a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
And believe you me, there are headaches involved.
I know.
Just be ready for the headaches.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But the bottom line is, if you want to do something like that, you kind of have to do it yourself, because I've been trying to come up with a beef jerky, and I've come up with some great beef jerkies. The problem is,
I would buy the fuck out of that.
Here's the problem. Nobody wants to make it without sugar. There's like, we got to add sugar. If you want to do it, you got to put sugar. It's like,
That's bullshit.
no, if I ever do a beef jerky, I'm going to have to do it myself. I'm going to have to rent more kitchen space, hire another staff.
Yeah, you'll need a dehydrator.
Yeah. I'm going to need a lot of equipment. That's why I'm not doing it right now.
See, for the cheese crisps, I need a conveyor belt oven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that does it for just the right amount of time to blast it. Because the problem is that you don't want to burn the spices. So when you're doing it yourself on the pan, you can make the cheese crisps really easily, and it won't take it off before it burns the spices.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But you ought to put the spices on beforehand because you want them baked in. Because then I'm telling you, the cheese with the barbecue dust tastes like a barbecue chip. It's so good.
And I'm going to do some of those today. I want to experiment with all three of your dusts, maybe even mixing some together. I want to play with the nuts. You know how I do my roasted nuts. I bet the dill would go good with that. Ooh, dill nuts.
Dill nuts, absolutely. And you know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to do dill burgers.
Really? You think that would go? Huh?
I should have clarified. I got some ground chicken thigh, and I'm going to do dill burgers with that. And put a little lemon in there, little dill, like a summer burger.
I'm going to see if I can mess around with that and do something with beef. By
the way, I have a new lamb burger recipe up at my Substack that is incredible. Y'all need to make it.
Really?
We get a lot of lamb up here because of our CSA has a lot of lamb.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I love a lamb burger. I think I have like 15 burger recipes out there. So you guys aren't lacking for burger recipes. And I have more on the way.
Yeah. And by the way,
also the dill. Oh, I know, the dill with beef and green hatch chilies in the burger.
Oh, I love hash chilies.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
You know, I need to get some. You know, when Tallulah was around, we had more hash chilies because she would bring that stuff around. I need to get some hash chilies.
Well, it's hatch chili season is not till August, so you have to get the canned right now.
Well, my favorite thing right now, you know, my summer special is doing a big hamburger patty, like, you know, literally like a 10, 12 ouncer, big giant thing, slice of cheese on it, big slice of tomato, and a big white onion, Vidalia onion slice on top of that. Folks, that's the move right there.
Yes.
That's summertime eating right there. All you need is a little salt on that and a little black pepper. You just go to town. Go to town. That's a meal. That's what I call a meal. Anna, anything else? Because we're supposed to keep these shows shorter right now because of traveling and everything else.
I have two. You know what? We're recording again tomorrow. And I have two pretty intense questions so far from Twitter. So, and by the way, just to season your cast iron, do what Vinny said. Just start to cook it with some fat in there. Cook your pasta and then put it in the oven, maybe at like 250 to 300 for like an hour, and it's seasoned. Although the Lodge cast iron, I believe now comes pre-seasoned. So just clean it. Don't scrub it hard. Clean it nicely. But you could still season a pre-seasoned thing for sure. I don't know what they pre-season it with, probably sunflower oil or something like that. So I would pre-season. I would go ahead and season it with your own butter or olive oil or coconut oil or beef tallow if you have it.
Yeah, I believe in letting it heat up about 350. So scorch the oil, give it a few hours in there, take it out, let it cool down completely. When it's room temperature, do it again, reseason it, do it again. And then you're set. It somehow gets down into those pores a bit and you're good. What? You can't hear me? Oh, somehow Anna went away. So while Anna's gone and trying to come back, I'll do the Villa Capelli ad. Folks, Villa Capelli, longest running sponsor of this show, villacapelli.com. By the time this comes out, they should be back stocked here in the United States. The oil is on our soil. It just has to pass through customs, and sometimes that takes longer than usual. So go check out Villa Capelli. When you get to checkout, put in promo code Vinnie, Vinnie. I also suggest you get the 3-liter tin every single time. Get the 3-liter tin at Villa Capelli. Why do you want the 3-liter tin? Because when you buy anything in bulk, you save money. Anna, can you hear me? Are we back? Are we back on? Let's see. Anna's, I see her picture up here. She's telling me to hold on. What are you doing? I can hear clicking, Anna. Talk. I wonder if she can hear me.
Okay.
Okay, you're back.
Wait,
Anna,
how much did we pay for our roadcasters? $300, $400, $500?
I don't know, a lot of money. Maybe 800.
So this is the second time this has happened. When you and I are podcasting, it gives me a beep that sounds like this. Blasting in my ear. Can't hear you anymore.
Huh.
So I think it's Zoom. So I disconnect Zoom. And now I realize it's the roadcaster. I unplug the roadcaster from the computer. I have to and the roadcaster won't turn off. It like freezes. I have to unplug it from the plug it back in. So apologies. Thank you, Rode.
Look, I got to tell you this. When I was doing my pickups for my last movie, explain what a pickup is, Anna.
Wait, you were doing pickups for your, wait.
Yeah.
You're telling, okay, got it. Pickups for your movie or when you see the whole edit and then you realize you have to put some additional shots in there to make it make sense.
Yeah. But in my case, it's extra words, right? So that
right. You have to change the dialogue. You have to change the narration. By the way,
sometimes the words have to match what I'm saying on camera, and I just have to do it with the same inflection. So it's a lot of work. So that's why sometimes you'll see me talking and then it'll go on to the picture, but I'm still talking. That's why we threw in the extra word or two that was, had to be dubbed in. And I did one day I sat down and did an hour and a half into my roadcaster of pickups.
Right.
And nothing was on the digital card, nothing, zero. It just decided, hey, I'm just going to dump whatever you just did. It's done that to me on one or two podcasts where I had to call someone and go, hey, we need to do the podcast again. But it just dumped it. And I had to sit there and do that. And you know how hard it is to match.
Oh, yeah.
You're not just talking
a lot of work
or two into something. You got to match something. So you have to play it, hear it, match it, make sure it matches, go again. So at any rate, I was telling you guys about Villa Capelli, promo code Vinnie, VINNIE. Go there, get everything. I was just telling Amanda, I think everything's going to be back in stock by the time this show comes out in a couple of weeks. Anna Vocino has Eat Happy Kitchen. Go check out everything she has there. She's got all the powders we were just talking about, the dill powder, the taco powder, the barbecue powder, which I can't get enough of.
I'm so glad you like them.
Look, I don't know what I would have done. Those powders have saved me so much money because I want my food to at least taste good. And if I'm not getting there, I can only cook so many meals for myself past breakfast because I'm good at breakfast. I'm good at eggs and bacon and all that. I would have been buying meals every night because Serena is a gourmet cook. These meals have stopped me from going to restaurants. I've been to restaurants one time since she's
That's great.
And so there, I mean, your powders have saved the day. I've also used some of your sauce. That spicy sauce is really good.
We have about 45 twin packs of spicy sauce, and then it's done for the year.
Go check that out, folks. Go get them.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah.
Literally.
Ta-da.
And yes, by the way, we are still shipping sauces. We've been okay because I know there's a heat wave in the middle of the country. We are still shipping sauces. So we have AC, what is it called? Warehouses. And, is what it is. If you guys have any breakage or anything like that, let me know. Obviously, we'll make it right and send you a replacement. But things so far have been pretty smooth.
How did I lose this?
Next time, we're going to talk about a few good questions that we got on the Twitter.
Yeah. So
Q&A mailbag. I know you guys like those. I'm just going to bang them off and get Vinnie to answer questions.
Yeah, bang. She said.
Yeah, I said bang it off.
All right. So let me turn. By the way, with me, you know what to do. We all go to Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com. Click through the banner. bookmark it, use it every time. It puts coal on the fire, helps keep this show free. Also, I have a super fan page at VinnieTortorich.com, so you can check that out.